Yes, people, Wagwan. This is Empress Copper Fox Silent Warriors. Scientific East Clavis Part 1 is the key. I do apologize for the live being cut off due to YouTube and their politics. And we know how that goes. So what we're going to do, we're going to resume playing the video where we left off. Before we do that, we'll play music and then we get back into it. And at some point, we could try to go back over it again, but minus the two other videos that was causing issues because of due to politics. But yes, people. All right. The song we'll be playing is "The Nabil Great Man" by Jacure. Once again, the Nabil Great Man by Jacure.
If you had the power to change just one thing, what would it be? Change the system. Me see myself on this journey through prison as just a part of my mission. Because I come see it this one way. Me come up with one of them up to the boy major.
No, I died, I know. No. Oh yeah. Them not build great man, them only kill great man. Babylon be still and no underrated man. Some of us say that the work we motion. Can't let them move work.
If you had the power to change just one thing, what would it be? Change the system. Me see myself on this journey through prison as just a part of my mission. Because I come see it this one way. Me come up with one of them up to the boy major.
No, I died, I know. No. Oh yeah. Them not build great man, them only kill great man. Babylon be still and no underrated man. Some of us say that the work we motion. Can't let them move work. Them not build great man, them only kill great man. Babylon be still and no underrated man. Some of us say that the work we motion. Can't let them move work. But my living not just you Mandel free I can saw. Need to get you Papa Richie, yeah. Can't let them get you down with iniquity. Country you down in a pretty. Mankind will take your ground to them never check it. I'll look keep things are rust and a licky. I'm like, yeah, you just with a trick, yeah. Oh, yeah. Them not feel great man, them only feel great man. Babylon be still and no underrated man. Some of us say that no work we broken. Can't let them move work. Them no feel great man, them only kill great man. Babylon be still and no underrated man. Some of us say that same solution. All of them are work we broken.
The more you them guilty and get that one right, and keep Babylon a surprise. Bonsai, a Papa Janai children cry. I cry for equal rights and justice for my people every night.
Them killed Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. A same thing them bring up on Rodney King. Millions vex, still I couldn't do nothing. In Celestia, me sing, yeah. Some are fling for your boss, some are flashlighting. King Celestia, be king, yeah. Them can't break me choice of me love with him. Celestia, big me sing, yeah. World I cry for the love we bring, man.
Rastafari is everything.
To the powers of the earth we cling. Them can't do the Rastafari thing. Them not feel great, man. Them only kill great, man. Babylon be still and alright, man. Some of us say that never have been broken. Can't let them move back. Them not feel great, man. Them only kill great, man. Babylon be still and alright, man. Some of us say that work we broken. Can't let them move back. Grace is great. should not be underrated. Praise is great. Should be appreciated. See your brother greatness, try your best to endorse it. Don't play by mind and force it. Rocking them checks, make you want the university. Thanks a lot, see how we have this. By your roots and your culture, then you're the last this. Rasta company and dance this, yeah. You dance this, yeah. Babylon, them no build we. When them sister we great, them a try hard to kill we. But still I'm surviving. Take your stay alive in your heart. Them not feel great, man. Them wanna kill great, man. Babylon, this thing, I know I'm not man.
Yes, people, that was Jacure. Them the Bill Great, man. Yes, Jacure, they're the Bill Great, man. But the next song we're playing is Mr. Buja Bantan. Hold on. Hold on, viewers. But big up everybody in the live chat. Big up everybody. Site listeners, pick up yourself. New subscribers, pick up yourself. Old subscribers, pick up yourself. IG supporters, pick up yourself. Yes, the next song we're playing is Buja Bantan, Nothing. So Buja Bantan, Nothing.
So we stay. Oh, Central on pattern now. It's the move, can I lead out? All right. So we stay. No, I ain't gonna smile. Now mercy, hey. Me ain't a nothing to why me ain't a nothing to day. Nothing too ordinary, nothing to change. Nothing with the wrong side and nothing with free. Nothing too strong, me ain't a nothing too weak. Me ain't a nothing with what me ain't a nothing with big. Nothing in a underpants and nothing in a braid. Nothing in a single, it must can repair. Y'all pick me and one can make me feel sweet. Y'all see me style, smell me fragrance from my mind. Accept me and y'all listen me shout all the while. She love pleasure with position and style. And she wants somebody who is versatile. So I pay no money, but the argument with someone can't tie and then fall right asleep. I'll be everlasting from it. And she wants somebody who is versatile. Sexual and pattern now. It's the move, can I lead out? All right. So we stay. No, I ain't gonna smile. Have mercy, hey. Me ain't a nothing to why me ain't a nothing to day. Nothing too ordinary, nothing to change. Nothing with the wrong side and nothing with free. Nothing too strong, me ain't a nothing too weak. Me ain't a nothing with what me ain't a nothing with big. Nothing in a underpants and nothing in a braid. Nothing in a single, it must can repair. Y'all pick me and one can make me feel sweet. Y'all see me style, smell me fragrance from my mind. Accept me and y'all listen me shout all the while. She love pleasure with position and style. And she wants somebody who is versatile. So I pay no money, but the argument with someone can't tie and then fall right asleep. I'll be everlasting, be don't make me sick. You know you're in a class, but make sure it in it. Me in a nothing to one, me in a nothing to day. Nothing too ordinary, nothing to change. Nothing with the wrong side and nothing with free. Nothing too strong, me in a nothing too weak. Me in a nothing with put me in a nothing with big. Nothing with the underpants and nothing with big. Nothing with the one pop, it must can be paid. Can't pick me and one can make me feel sweet. Well, everything correct, nothing out of proportion. So you think we set it off wide like the ocean. Not a lot of money in a run a crash program. And you know coffee and like politics slogan. Amount of money you know you can count for one. You know we have old broke your second and new gram. Some y'all have a one go hand up if you come. You know one of y'all want more than one man. Not no two, I'm not in a nothing to day. Not no two, ordinary nothing to cheap. Not no with the wrong side and not no with free. Yeah, Buja Bantan, I tell them straight. Me not in a nothing with the underpants and nothing with brave. Not no with the one pump, it must can repeat. I'll pick me, y'all one can make me feel sweet. Y'all gonna be lucky them it. We don't want them roll out. We the road while them start to show I'm mad out. Woman them a control the road, we talk about. Watch that woman ya, nice and round. Here but the bottom from the rhythm and get down. Me can't hold. Watch how the woman them a ball and I can't hold. Put you be around dance all. The music kick, girl, and she rail up and ball. How we come to eat a one, yeah? When me say, me no ain't a not no toe, I me no ain't a not no toe, not no toe, ordinary, not no toe, not no with the wrong side, and not no with free. Not no toe, strong, me no ain't a not no toe, we me no ain't a not no with, but me ain't a not no with me. Not no with the and the pants, and not no with the free. Not no with the one poppy, no scan repeat. Now when you come to black up all lane and street.
Yes, people, that was Butcher Banting, nothing. Once again, that was Butcher Banting, nothing. And yes, people, this is Empress Copper Fox, Silent Warriors, the First Lady. Yeah, man. And you already know about the other Empresses that will be on the platform. Empress Thule, Empress Kate Fair, Holbert, and all the rest of the ladies you've seen for the last 4 years, or shall I say 5 years, that's been putting in work, you know. So, yeah, big up to the ladies, them. That's all about the ladies, you see it, because they're our first love. And then them can be babies. You see it? So we don't care to man. We don't love man. We love woman. That's natural law. You see it? Man, woman, and child. Straight like that. But yes, as we get back into it, and I do apologize for the live stream being cut off. Due to politics is one of the videos that we played. Yes, so you know, we're back on, we're gonna resume where we left off. So we have 2 videos to go, and then yeah, man. But yes, people, I do apologize. My apologizes from myself and Copper Fox. And yes, Fox, come in.
Yeah, honor and gratitude to the chat, man. You know, as always, honor and gratitude to the listeners and the playback, new subscribers, old subscribers. You know what I mean? It's all about knowledge and vibe, entertainment and educational purposes. Only YouTube. Please, I'm begging you. The other things, it just won't work. Right?
All right, people, let's get back into it, shall we? Where we left off. Okay, we'll share my screen quickly. And this is from Why Do Historians Never Talk About This? And it's from Mr. Imhotep and Bomber Clark Fair Use and Fair Use. Okay, let's get to it.
In this video, we are going to talk about 10 European rulers who were actually black. So before starting this video, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. All you've ever heard is that Europe is a land ruled by white people and that black-skinned people are immigrants there. Unless you're a historian, you probably take this as a fact, or you may not have ever thought about it. Either way, there have been rulers that were black, and in this video, we are going to look at 10 of them. In cases where there are shortage of evidences of the rulers being black, the nomenclature can assist by indicating what they look like. Without further ado, let's look at the 10 black rulers that led in Europe. Number 10, Cadmus. We wanted to start the list off with someone that has had a major impact on Europe, allegedly. A figure of Greek mythology who got into history books primarily by taking the Phoenicians' alphabet and adapting it to form the written language of the Greeks. He is considered the founder of Thebes, an important city in ancient Greece, probably named after the original city of Thebes in ancient Africa. According to Greek mythology, he was the son of Agenor, a Chemite from Memphis in Africa, son of Poseidon. His mother, Telephassa, was the daughter of Nilus deity of the river Nile in Africa. So based on his lineage, he was a descendant of Africans in a time when Greeks described their gods as well as the Kemites, or ancient Egyptians, as very dark-skinned people. Number 9, Europa. For the next figure, we stay in ancient Greece, and even in Cadmus' family. Europa, who was Cadmus' sister, and one of someone you might have heard of wives, the infamous Zeus. Her blackness is proved through Cadmus' lineage, since they were siblings. She was born in Phoenicia from the same African parents. According to Greek mythology, while in Phoenicia, Zeus saw her. Astonished by her beauty, he turned into a white ox and approached her. He kidnapped her and took her to his land, where she became queen. It is believed that the continent of Europe was named after her. It may be a bit hard to believe today, but the European continent is named after a black queen. Please don't forget to miss the number 1, because it is going to blow up your mind. Number 8, Hannibal Barca. Let's head out of Greek mythology and look at a more recent and perhaps more well-known historical figure, the famous Hannibal Barca. Born in Carthage, or present-day Tunisia in Africa, around 247 BC, he was the son of Hamilcar Barca, a Carthaginian general at the time. As the son of a general, Hannibal was bound to take hold of the military, defend and preserve his land, and conquer others. And that was the case when he went to war with the Roman Empire, actually, in a series of them, more popular known as the Punic Wars. He is known for his crossing of the Europe Alps using African elephants. At first, victory was on his side, and he managed to defeat Roman forces and even reached Rome's capital. At this point in time, he ruled over present-day Spain. He was about to defeat the mighty Roman Empire. But unfortunately, because of his patience, he let the Romans recover from their defeats. They recovered their land and forced Hannibal into exile. Later on, Hannibal will commit suicide rather than surrender to the Romans. The proofs of him being an African, aside from his birthplace, include a coin minted in Italy with his face on it, and that face was a black African man. Number 7, Danis. Danis was born, unlike the explorer rulers of his time, not in Phoenicia, but in Kemet, in Africa. He was the king of Libya in Africa, and was the son of King Belus. He had 2 brothers, Egyptius, king of Arabia, and Cepheus, king of Ethiopia. This was a way for the Greeks to show the common origins of Libyans. Egyptians and Nubians, who are even considered as sons of Ham, father of all blacks in the Bible. So we have enough evidence to affirm that he was indeed black and African, according to the Greeks. According to Greek mythology, Danis is thought to have ruled the city of Argos in present-day Greece. Egyptius, Danis' brother, had 50 sons, and Danis had 50 daughters. Egyptius proposed a plan to marry his sons to Danis' daughters, 4 of which were the daughters of Europa. Danis refused and fled to Argos, which was ruled by, at the time, by a king called Pelasgus. That king, oddly enough, was succeeded by none other than Danis.
Do you see this award behind me? Me and my twin brother Rasmus got this award.
Go suck your mother, man.
Pelasgus. That king, oddly enough, was succeeded by none other than Danis. It is also believed by some that the Argead dynasty might have something to do with Danis, meaning that he might be an ancestor to Philip of Macedon, whose son is none other than Alexander the Great. So, Danis the African was a very distant ancestor to Philip of Macedon and his son Alexander the Great. Before we proceed, We would like you to know that in ancient and medieval Europe, people who had a different skin color were named after terms that explained that their skin was black. Some rulers in this list are, aside from their official name, known as and were called Moors, meaning they were from the north and western Africa. Others, especially in the Roman Empire, were named Niger or Afer, words that mean black. The word Afer might also be a root word for the naming of the whole continent of Africa. Number 6, Pescennius Niger. This emperor is said to have been the first black emperor of Rome. Although he didn't even last a year on the most powerful seat of Europe at the time, his rise to power was unconventional in its methods. He was appointed by the previous emperor, Commodus, as delegate in Syria, and while he was there, Commodus was succeeded by a man named Pertinax, who was in turn murdered and succeeded by Commodus' close man, Didius Julianus. Pescennius Niger, upon hearing what had happened in Rome, where he was still very popular, managed to take the throne and proclaim himself as emperor. The empire was divided, and rivals started revolting from all corners. In a few months, Niger was murdered, and the new emperor was crowned. Niger was born in the Roman Empire, but the exact place is unknown. It is assumed that because of his dark skin, which is also the reason his name is Niger, meaning black, he was born somewhere in Africa. Another reason to believe that he was an African could be that he served in a higher position of government in Egypt during his earlier years. Before we move towards number 5, why don't you hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you get latest updates from us. Number 5, Marcus Ophelius Macrinus. As for Emperor Marcus, there is little to no doubt of him being an African. He was born in what is now known as Algeria, in a place now called Scientia, although it was known as Caesarea when he was born. He ascended to the throne of the Roman Empire after a few years from when Pescennius Niger came to be emperor, 23 years to be exact, and lasted for just about a year on the throne, just like his fellow Africans. His reign was so short-lived that he didn't even manage to literally sit on the throne. He never went to Rome, the capital, as emperor. During his reign, he tried to resolve conflicts with neighboring kingdoms, Parthia and Armenia, in a diplomatic way, and succeeded for the most part. His diplomatic endeavors resulted in the depletion of the empire's treasury that led to a riot. His predecessor's aunt took advantage of the situation and managed to put her grandson on the throne. Macrinus was executed in the war that followed. However short his reign may be, he will be remembered as an African who held the highest power of his time. He was said to have been of Mari origin, meaning a Moor from Africa. Number 4, Nicephorus Phocas. Let's go from the Western to the Eastern Roman Empire. Now, we find a ruler who had a different policy of handling foreign affairs. Quite opposite to Macrinus, Nicephorus Phocas was a military general who successfully carried out a coup and went on to have a bitter relationship with his neighbors. A diplomat called Bishop Liutprand from Rome, who wanted to tie the Byzantines and the Romans with the royal marriage, was annoyed with the cold reception he got from Nicephorus. This bishop went on to describe the emperor as a pygmy who had a fat head and bristle hair, and more important to our cause, as being in color in Ethiopia, where he's trying to point out that he was very dark-skinned and might have been of African descent. Ethiopian was the word used by Europeans to describe Africans and dark-skinned. He was born from a Greek family in Cappadocia, present-day Turkey, but is taught by Greek history at the time. Most of these areas were populated with descendants of Africans, first settlers who mixed with other populations. To this day, numerous populations from southern Europe still carry African haplogroups or DNA. This might be the explanation. Number 3, Charlotte Sophia, Queen of England. Among the rulers on this list of black rulers in Europe, this queen's story is famous. Queen Charlotte Sophia was born in Germany to a ruling family of a small state called Mecklenburg-Strelitz and married George III of England at the age of 17. This royal marriage was a courtesy of the English royal family, who did not want to marry the king to someone with political interest, and Charlotte Sophia seemed to be a perfect fit. She was directly descended from Margarida de Castro e Sousa, a black brand of the Portuguese royal house. She was described as a true mulatto, meaning mixed race. It was said that she had a large nose and that her lips were too thick. To understand why a woman of mixed race would be in a European royal family, one must know that centuries earlier, Europe had been under control of the Moors, who ruled for many centuries. Moors were African Muslims who had conquered Europe and influenced European politics. As a result, many of the rulers of Southern Europe countries, such as Portugal and Spain, were black or mixed race even after the Moors were expelled. And with intermarriage, it spread through other European royal families. Queen Charlotte had 15 children, including Prince Edward, father of Queen Victoria of England, the great great grandmother of Queen Elizabeth II, the current Queen of England. So black was present in this family long before Meghan Markle, but this has been kept under wraps. Number 2, Kenneth MacAlpin. Who would have thought that there were black kings in ancient Scotland? The truth is that the Moors were dominant in Scotland between the 9th and 10th century. One of them was known as King Kenneth MacAlpin. The Christian converted Moorish Pictish Kenneth MacAlpin was also called Niger Dove, a surname which means the black man. He was the first king of the Scott Alpin dynasty. According to the Scottish archaeologist David MacRitchie, Alpin, the father of Kenneth MacAlpin, was a half-black Piet and half-black Scotch, whose son Kenneth was the first to merge the two foremost branches of the blacks in Scotland. The forefather of Kenneth MacAlpin and all of his descendants was Fergus More, who is known as the first king of Scotland. When we study the etymology of his name, More, we notice that it means Moor or Moorish, which is black or black people. It is said that the plural of Moor is Morak, a word in Hungarian that means Moors, leading to black people again. Scholars prove that there is a very strong relationship between Scottish and Hungarian languages. All this proved that what we said was true. When Kenneth MacAlpin died, his younger Moorish brother, Donald I, succeeded him. It is a historical fact that Niger Dove lived and reigned over certain black divisions in Scotland, and that a race known as the Sons of the Blacks succeeded him in history. It is understood that he was the son of the King of Scotland in the 10th century, Malcolm I. He took the throne from King Indolf in 962. The claim that he was black is strengthened by the fact that his name Dove literally means for black. Number 1, Septimius Severus. Perhaps the one ruler that could make historians reach a consensus as to his being black and also his being a ruler is Septimius Severus. He was a Roman emperor and was born in a place called Leptis Magna, present-day Libya, and was an expansionist. He would wage war after war and was successful at most of them. The empire extended more in his time than in any other emperor. Although he was from Africa, it should not be assumed that he fought all the way through the ranks. He came from a wealthy family with some Italian descent. He moved to Rome and was able to enter the senatorial ranks during the time of emperor and philosopher Marcus Aurelius. After that, in a series of battles, he was able to sit on the throne of the Roman Empire. These were the 10 rulers of Europe who were, to some extent, black or African. Some had subtle relations, while others were clearly connected. But throughout history, there must have been other European leaders who were, in fact, black. That's it for today, guys. What do you think of our video? Please let us know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from me again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go. And if you need sources, subscribe to our Patreon. The link is in the caption below. Thanks for watching.
And yes, people, there you have it. There you have it.
Very interested indeed.
Yeah, man. You know, and this is why when I'm about to say what I'm going to say, for those who haven't seen the live stream that I did with Dante, he's from over here. He has ties and blood lineage to Europa, into the British Isles specifically. He told you his tribe. He told you his historical old stories from his personal family. He broke down the science, or should I say not the science, but the origins of his people and where they always has been. To what, you know, he's debunking the information that's put us out there about people from the British Isles, the Aboriginal inhabitants, such as the Irish, the Scottish, the Dutch, or really the Irish, the Scottish, the people from England, British, and these type of things. And giving his old stories and the history regarding the British Isles and these type of things, and the Moors and these type of things. But yes, you can go check out on my YouTube channel on the Current Empire. You see the Europa part 1. There'll be a part 2 shortly when we can schedule that. But yes, enough of that. So what we're going to do now, we're going to play some tunes before we come back and play the last video. Right? And once again, big up everybody on the live stream that managed to come back and tune in. And even the ones that wasn't a previous live stream, big up yourself. So big up the new subscribers, old subscribers, people in the live chat, silent listeners, big up yourself. IG supporters, big up yourself. And thanks again for tuning in to Empress Copper Fox Silent Warriors, you know, the first lady. And you already know the rest of the empresses. So yes, so the next song we're playing, all right, is Chronix Likes.
And not everybody I got like, but you got like, still we irie, come in all of likes, in a dancehall style. And not everybody I got like, still we irie, come in a love life. You say we know every time I rise, we do it for the love, we not do it for the light. See it for the love, we not do it for the light. See it for the love, we not do it for the light. See it for the love, we not do it for the light. Success don't come overnight. No man you know a substance over hype. Do it for the love, we not do it for the light. Do it for the love, we not do it for the light. That's alright. Sit down on the post and I tweet all night. Sit down on social media type. While I sit them they studio advice. Oh, me never put them up on no flight. And me never sit them and live no tour life. You miss someone now you have so much lights. I'm always still a lead by iTunes. Simple me when I'm ready. If you put the music first, that's all. While we there on a bar on the island. Really work, dance all. When you see me, I see I. And never choose when we never right. And never show where we headline. No, we not do it for the lights. When we tell them we do it for the love, we not do it for the light. What I got it, I got it. Do it for the love, we not do it for the light. Never tell you if you bust a shot and quench them. It's tell you, gonna buy a yen. Come with me for the love, we not do it for the light. See, them not like you, but we not respond. Fly out and make them know we from a distance. Come home for 2 weeks vacation. Enough of them still stuck in at the quicksand. And no fear, I see them at the big man. In a Jamaica, and them a big hit song. A gentleman, me hear a play a Finland. Me never hear them playing up against them. That's it for me, we not ready. One like a you could dance all. While we there on a war on the ice. No Jamaica, but you dance all. Christ, me tell them, do it for the love, we not do it for the life. Jesus Christ, do it for the love, we not do it for the life. Young it to the beat, everybody move your feet. And you know we need them, we know we need when remix a tune and drop it like a bomb. Me no wanna waste guy a critique my song. Me no wanna media guy interpret me wrong. So make me give me credits in a dancehall fashion first. Big up Kalanji and the one Capleton. The one Apache and the one Ninja Man. Then big up the Killer and the one Guinea Man. King Yellow Man, Buru Buju Bantan. Early B, not just in my down. Me a Jama Cream sister guy man. And none of them nobody like Marianne. Lady sir, you are really big man. Big up Lady Dika, you are the vegan. Big up Dance Man and the umbrella Papa San. Big up Gary Mine and you don't know what you got done. Big up Kaneko, you are the girl like a dance. Steal it, leave it, Tony and Dave Kelly. Copy digital it and the King Jammit. Exterminate and say I'm rabbit. Steve McGregor and Carly on it. We got succulent King Bulby and a Benjamin Graft and Nike. Deep na the science and I know me ready. All of these Cub Scouts have to talk up to me.
Yes, people, that was Connects and Likes. Once again, Connects and Likes. Alright, so the second tune we are gonna play. Alright, we are gonna freestyle it. Alright. Foxy Brown, Tables Will Turn. Hold on.
This young man. What's poppin'? Fox Brown. When you start
Fox Brown, Baby Shan, King one more time. Dave What? How many times I got to let y'all bitches know why so many bitches wanna take my flow on? Too hot, too dope, so like that pink Chris and Mimosa. Who the fuck dope? Niggas wanna run up in my spots and every nigga wanna pull up on my frockin'. Me and Shan do that yard hip hopping. I can't fuck with us. We keep niggas bopping.
Tell them a woman we are defend. Love to see the shorties in a Benz or a BM. All life you're living right. Get the Benjamins high. Let them know I'm on the road defend. I let them know I'm ready and I'm telling them again. We're on another level, fast round and set it friend. Heads bopping and colors popping and Prada rocking to the end. Breaker, call the undertaker. Niggas will be dying, I am no faker. Send them niggas crying, back to their maker. Motherfuckers trying to be a shaker. They didn't know they should have messed with people from Jamaica. Baby, come and pack your gun and we take the cake up. Drop a bomb on them, know it's like a nerve cracker. See the faucets moving like a snake.
Oh, what today when the tables will turn? What today when the tables will turn? Hey, what today when the tables will turn? What today when the tables will turn? Oh, what today when the tables will turn? What today when the tables will turn? What today when the tables will turn? What today when the tables will turn?
Throw your hands up, wild the fuck out, roll and keep it.
What's poppin'? Baby Shan, Fox Brown. When you start
Fox Brown, Baby Shan, King one more time. Dave What? How many times I got to let y'all bitches know why so many bitches wanna take my flow on? Too hot, too dope, so like that pink Chris and Mimosa. Who the fuck dope? Niggas wanna run up in my spots and every nigga wanna pull up on my frockin'. Me and Shan do that yard hip hopping. I can't fuck with us. We keep niggas
the shortest in a Benz or a BM. I like you living right, get the Benjamins high. Let them know I'm on the road depend. I let them know already and I'm telling them again. We're on another level, fast round a second trend. Heads bopping and colors popping and Prada rocking to the end. Breaker, all the undertaker. Niggas will be dying, I am no faker. Send them niggas crying, back to their maker. Motherfuckers trying to be a shaker. They didn't know they should have mess with people from Jamaica. Baby, come and pack your gun, now we take the cake. Drop a bomb on them, now it's like a nerve cracker. See the faucets moving like a snake.
What today when the tables will turn? What today when the tables will turn? Hey, what today when the tables will turn? 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 What today when the tables will turn?
Throw your hands up, wild the fuck out, roll and keep it, boss the screech you grab a couple styles and show them what y'all got. You can't deny us. We dare y'all to try us. The best to ever do it. So throw your hands to it. Hit the dance floor. What the fuck y'all came for? Hot shit. Yo, not a madhouse. Lock this shit down, nigga. What? We don't give a fuck. Big pussy like Soprano. Young Fox ride big cock, my nigga. The poop I lick Honda.
What today when the tables will turn? 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 What today when the tables will turn?
Tell them up, woman, we are defend. Not to see the shortest in a Benz or a BM. I like you living right, get the Benjamins high. Let them know I'm on the road depend. I let them know already and I'm telling them again. We're on another level, fast round a second trend. Heads bopping and colors popping and Prada rocking to the end. Breaker, all the undertaker. Niggas will be dying, I am no faker. Send them niggas crying, back to their maker. Motherfuckers trying to be a shaker. They didn't know they should have mess with people from Jamaica. Baby, come and pack your gun, now we take the cake. Drop a bomb on them, now it's like a nerve cracker. See the faucets moving like a snake.
Yes, people, that was Foxy Brown featuring Spraggle Brand's Tables Will Turn. And for the next tune, all right, it's girls' night, you know, ladies' night, so we love the ladies. All right. What can I play for the ladies? Lauryn Hill, Do Up. All right. Go. Let's go.
Girls, you know you better watch out. Some guys, some girls are only about bad things, bad things, bad things, bad things, bad things.
3 weeks since you were looking for your friend, the one you let it and never called you again. Remember when he told you he was about to Benjamins? You act like you ain't him, they give him a little trim to begin. Now you think you really gon' pretend like you wasn't down and you called him again. Plus when you give it up so easy, you ain't even fooling him. If you did it then you probably talking out your neck saying you're a Christian. Muslim sleeping with the gin. Now that was the sin that the gents about. And who you gonna tell when the people cuss you and spit? Showing up your ass and you thinking it's a dream, girl.
Girls, you know you better watch out. Some guys, some girls are only about bad things, bad things, bad things, bad things, bad things, bad things.
Since you were looking for your friend, the one you let it and never called you again. Remember when he told you he was about to Benjamins? You act like you ain't him, they give him a little trim to begin. Now you think you really gon' pretend like you wasn't down and you called him
come again. Plus plan, you give it up so easy, you ain't even fooling him. If you did it then you probably talking out your neck saying you're a Christian. Muslim, sleeping with the gin. Now that was the sin that the gins about. And who you gonna tell when the repercussions spin? Showing off your ass and you thinking it's a dream girlfriend. Let me break it down for you again. You know I only say it cause I'm truly genuine. Don't be a hard rock when you really are a gym, baby girl. Respect is just the minimum. You still defending on now. Girlfriend is only human. You don't think I haven't been through the same predicament. Let it sit inside your head like a million women in Philly pen. It's silly when girls sell their souls because of sin. Look at where you be in. Hair weaves like Europeans. Fake nails done by Koreans. Come again. Wait, come again. Come again. Come again. Yeah, guys, you know you better watch out. Some girls are only about that thing, that thing, that thing, that thing, that thing, that thing. This second verse is dedicated to the man concerned with his friends and his Timbs and his women. Him and his man come in the club like hooligans. Don't care who they be fed, poppy, yeah. You got it. Stop pretend. The one that pack pissed out by the basement, crissed out by the casement. The name of the space, it's a pretty face man claiming that they did a bid, man. Need to take care of their 3 or 4 kids. With the face in court case when the child support late. Money taking home breaking out. You wonder why women hate me. The sleep silent man. The punk commence the violence man. The quick to shoot the steam and stop acting like boys and be men. How you gon' win when you ain't right within? How you gon' win when you ain't right within? How you gon' win when you ain't right within? Come again. Yo, come again. Fresh red, come again. It's history, come again.
Yes, people, that was Lauren Hill, that thing. Do up. Yes, man. Got you singing in through your headphones or at home, you know, or cooking, wherever you do, yeah, sing tune. But yes, people, this is Empress Copper Fox, Silent Warriors, the First Lady. Title show is called Scientia clavis is part 1, and that means knowledge is the key. Yes, man. We got everybody, you know, that came out again. We apologize for the last live stream because of YouTube and the politics and the politics. But yes, man, enough of that. Empress, come in.
Yeah. As we always say, honor and gratitude for everyone that's here, for your time, your energy, your focus, your frequency, vibration. Listeners on the playback, old subscribers, new subscribers. You already know it's all about knowledge and vibes. That's all it always ever is, and that's all it ever gonna be when it comes to ICCC, Silent Warriors, the professor, the chief Inca Hotted, you know, and so on. Yeah, man, Tura, so on, and so on, and so on. The droid. Let's not forget the droid. Bye. Yeah.
Mad. Yes, people, let's get down to it. We got one last video, and then after that, our friend 2 bonus songs, you know. Yeah, man, I'm in a good mood. I'm in the mood for dancing. You know that song goes, I'm in the mood for dance. Yeah,
Mad.
man. Yeah, man. But anywho, let's get to it. All right. So the next video I'll be presenting, before I wrap it up, and it's been an informative show like always with the empresses, you know, as well ICCC, you know how we get down. So the video we'll be watching is the 12 mysteries, ancient technologies scientists still can't explain. And this is coming from Infrared. So yeah, fair use and fair use. Let's get down to the video. Like, share, subscribe, and enjoy, man.
Many of the places, temples, monuments, and cities built by our ancient ancestors are still around for us to admire in the present day. However, admiring them doesn't tell us anything about how they were built. The construction techniques and technologies of our ancestors are still largely a mystery to us. And we can prove that with the ancient technological wonders you're about to see in this video. If the purpose of this video is to talk about ancient cultures and their fantastic technological achievements, it'd be wrong of us not to mention the ancient Inca culture of South America. How is it that they were able to cut a square aqueduct into a volcanic rock 1,000 feet above sea level 3,500 years ago in Chamis, Peru? It might even be the case that this is the work of an advanced civilization that came before the Incas, but they've left no trace of themselves in the area to help us identify them. Even the name of the site, which is Cumbe Mayo, just means thin river. It doesn't give us any clues about who created the oldest human-built structure in all of South America. The precisely carved aqueduct channels water from melting snow all the way down the mountain to the cities in the dry valleys below it. It's a work of ingenuity, and it makes us wonder whether the stone monks, which are allegedly natural occurring 60-foot high volcanic pillars above the aqueduct, are truly natural in origin after all. There are many fairy tales and legends in Azerbaijan about the true origin and nature of the Maiden Tower in Baku. It's a shame that none of them seems to get us closer to the truth behind the building's existence. Baku is an old walled city, and the Maiden Tower is the oldest structure in it. It's so old that nobody can say for sure when it was built or what it was called by the people who built it. Most educated guesses say that it's a 12th century construction, but there's a significant difference between the stones that make up the first 3 stories of the building and those that make up the rest. Those lower 3 levels are more likely to be 2,500 years old, and possibly even more than that. That'd make the tower older than Islam, meaning that if it's a religious building, it's more likely to have been put together by Zoroastrians. Alternatively, it could be an observatory. The stone protrusions that jut out from the tower correlate to the upper and lower levels of the lunar cycle. The name Maiden's Tower comes from a legend about a king's daughter leaping to her death from the top of the tower to avoid an arranged marriage. But there's no historical evidence to support this. There are several names for our next site. They're most commonly referred to as the rock sculptures of Abbe Fowler. But you might also have heard them called the sculptured rocks of Rotheno, or La Rochère sculptures. You'll find them on the coast of Brittany in Saint Malo, France. Abbe Fowler lived in the 19th century, but suffered a severe stroke at the age of 30, depriving him of use of one side of his body and leaving him deaf and mute. He became a hermit and lived among the cliffs of Rotheno, using the one good side of his body to carve bizarre shapes into the rocks. He started in 1870 and continued for more than 25 years. It's thought that he also created an underground gallery of wooden figures, but they were almost entirely destroyed by a fire in 1944. There are over 300 unique stone sculptures at the site, many of which are said to have been inspired by folklore tales of a pirate family called the Rothenos, after whom the area is named. They were fishermen and smugglers of the 15th and 16th centuries, said to have superhuman eyesight that allowed them to see across the sea for miles. The tales are fanciful, but the sculptures are fantastic, especially when you bear in mind they were created by a one-armed man. Let's move on to something truly mind-blowing in terms of both sophistication and size. We're talking about the Yangshan Quarry in China, which is where most of the stone used in Nanjing's great monuments was quarried. Not all of the stone that was quarried, cut, and shaped here was moved elsewhere, though. Some of it, like its colossal unfinished stele, is still here. History tells us that the creation of the stele was ordered by the Yongli Emperor during the 15th century, who wanted to use it in a monument to honor his father at the Ming Shaoling Mausoleum. Workers got around to carving out the head, base, and body of the stele before appearing to give up, no doubt somewhat overawed by the size of their creation. The body is 30 feet wide, 15 feet thick, and 150 feet tall. We have almost no idea how they could possibly have carved something so enormous, and there's zero chance they'd ever be able to transport it. We can't help but wonder what convinced them that such a thing might have been possible in the first place. Discovering how to manufacture and mold steel was an important technological breakthrough for our ancestors, but when did that breakthrough occur? Evidence suggests that it happened far earlier than the history books suggest. We say that because there's evidence of metal clamps being used on several ancient temples and megaliths as far apart as Cambodia, Peru, and ancient Egypt, dating back thousands of years. Archaeological evidence suggests that small metal clamps were used to hold large stone blocks together, even in buildings as famous as the Parthenon in Athens. But historians tend to gloss over the evidence because they can't explain it. The clamps' imprints can clearly be seen on several adjoining stones in significant ancient buildings, as is obvious in these images. But the stele itself is long gone. The most likely explanation is that the material was either stolen or used in other construction projects long after the megaliths were built. But the imprints remain in place as evidence that they were once there. Analysis of what appears to be clamp imprints at Puma Punka has revealed traces of platinum, a metal that only becomes liquid at temperatures of over 1700 degrees Celsius. How did our ancient ancestors even get it that hot? Never mind using it in their construction projects. Human beings first began deliberately harvesting olive oil approximately 5,000 years ago. The process works by growing olive trees, harvesting the olives each September, crushing them in a press, and then collecting the golden juice that flows out. In ancient times, olive oil was used for almost everything. It was cooking oil, but also lighter fluid. It was used to make soap, but also to make medicine. Even today, olive oil is the most essential ingredient in most Middle Eastern cuisines. The processes involved in creating olive oil evolved over time, and we can see the remains of one of the most sophisticated ancient oil presses in what's left of a four-roomed house close to the palace of Tel Hazor in Israel. Parts of the ancient machine have been reconstructed so the process can be demonstrated to tourists. But the core of the oil press is approximately 2,800 years old. It's a lever-based press of a kind that would remain in common use for the next 8 centuries. Stone weights push the lever down, exerting force over a flat stone which crushes a basket full of olives. It might look primitive, but it was effective. There's quite a lot of scientific involved in the dating the Gopashal rock-cut Jain monuments in Madhya Pradesh, India. The carvings, which are sometimes also known as the Gopashal Parvat Jaina monuments, might have been created as long ago as the 7th century. Alternatively, they might have been carved as recently as the 15th century. The fact that scientists can't be any more accurate than that is a sign of how little we know about these beautiful decorations which appear on the walls of Gwalior Fort. Experts tell us that the majority of the carvings depict Tirthankaras in a traditional seated Padmasana pose, although there are others that show him in a standing posture known as Kayotsarga.
All of the sculptures are nudes, which is the norm with Jain iconography. Jain rock shrines exist elsewhere in India, but none with as many monumental statues as this site. It's almost as if the Jains tried to turn the entire cliff into one enormous shrine. History records that the Mongol Emperor Babar ordered the statues to be mutilated in 1527, but the Jain community eventually restored them by adding new stucco heads. Our next ancient curiosity is also known by more than one name. Most people refer to it as the Tomb of Absalom, but it's also sometimes called Absalom's Pillar. Whichever name you prefer to call it by, you'll find it in the Kidron Valley of Jerusalem. Mystery surrounds the origins of this monumental rock-cut tomb, which is notable because of its conical roof. The association with Absalom, son of King David, comes from ancient tradition. Modern archaeologists and scientists say that no such association is possible. Absalom is said to have lived and died about 3,000 years ago, whereas the tomb can't have been built any earlier than the 1st century. Also, only the lower half of the monument is a tomb. The upper half is a nephesh, a kind of funeral monument, and likely commemorates people buried in the adjacent caves, as well as whoever was buried in its lower half. The burial chamber actually contains 3 burial sites, but we don't know actually who was buried in any of them. Absalom's pillar was clearly built for people of great importance, but we might never know who those people were. We've been to France once already in this video, but we're going back there now to show you an incredible underground church. Building a church underground is far harder than building one above the ground for obvious reasons, but perhaps ancient builders saw working on such a project as the ultimate demonstration of their faith. Whatever the reasons, their work led to the creation of the underground church of Saint Jean, which is in Abbatière-sur-Dorne. It's the largest underground church in all of Europe. Scientists and archaeologists tell us that the whole church was carved by hand into a solid rock hillside during the 12th century. The style of the church is a little rustic, which is understandable given the methods used to create it, but the scale is impressive. Its main room contains 2 enormous columns supporting a 60-foot-high ceiling, and a hand-carved stairway allows visitors to climb the entire back wall and claim a stunning bird's-eye view of the site from above. Experts think that the church was originally built as a semi-secret hiding place for important religious artifacts. The Roman reliquary in the largest side room is said to be a relic of the First Crusade, and the 80 sarcophagi in the other side room are said to contain the remains of saints and martyrs. Both claims are impossible to prove. There is no correct answer to the question, what color is the Lycurgus cup? It could be one of 2 colors, depending on which direction you look at it from and how well lit it is at the time you're looking. The 1,600-year-old curiosity has been intriguing all of those who've seen it for centuries. The cup was made using dichroic glass, which can reflect light particles in a variety of different ways. If a light is shown from behind the glass, it'll appear green. But if the light is shown from directly in front of it, the color turns red. It's almost certain that the person who made it understood the principles of the glass that they were using, even if they didn't know why it behaved in the way that it did. Archaeologists have never found anything else like it, which perhaps isn't a surprise, given how delicate the cup is. So we can't rule out the possibility that only one ancient Roman craftsperson ever understood the potential for the glass and how to make beautiful things out of it. When they died, the secret of how to make objects like this went to the grave with them. Seen from above, this incredible invention in Gonabad, Iran looks like nothing more significant than a series of puckered holes in the ground. That's misleading. This is actually one huge interconnected structure known as a kiariz. It's an ancient miracle of hydraulic engineering. It's one of the greatest surviving examples of an irrigation system known as a kannik, a form of water transportation technology that's still used in some parts of the world today. Faced with life on a dry plain 3,000 years ago, the ancient Persians knew that the only way to survive was to make water come to them. And that's what kiariz does. The system is made up of underground tunnels that run for miles, connecting wells to underground reservoirs. The holes visible from above provide ventilation to the tunnels and also provide access for water collection. Building just one average-sized connet would take many years, as all the work was done with picks and shovels. Building something the size of Kieris must have taken decades. Systems like this still exist in Libya, Turkmenistan, Iran, and Afghanistan. We've looked at some large-scale mysteries during this video. Our final piece of mysterious technology is much smaller, but no less worthy of inclusion. If you're only taking a brief glance at it, you'd assume that the 2,200-year-old sculpture is just one of many ancient Egyptian carvings of birds. Look closer, though, and you'll see that aside from the eyes and the beak, it has a lot more in common with a modern plane than it does with any bird we've ever seen. The wings are thin, straight, tapered, and devoid of feathers. The tail is square, too. If it just happened to look like a plane, we could write these things off as coincidence. But the sculpture is also aerodynamically perfect. A research team made a perfectly scaled-up version of the sculpture during the 1970s and demonstrated that it was capable of flying and gliding. Is this an out-of-place artifact, or was there an Egyptian toy maker somewhere who made their child a flying toy, little realizing that they'd invented a test model aircraft over 2,000 years ahead of schedule? Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, and you will be the first to know when a new video comes out. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.
And there you have it, viewers. There you have it.
I must say that was very interesting, bro.
Yeah, as always. Very
And you
informative.
know what I found as key as well? Knowledge of self. We can't escape ourselves, man. Every time it keeps taking us right back to our ancestors. These are things unexplainable. You understand? Things they do not comprehend. Like, come on, man. Come on, man. Are you serious? And this is nothing new under the sun. They say, wink, wink. But how comes they can't explain these things? You know what I'm saying? But anyway, science rule, don't mind Fox, yeah.
Yes, people. So we come to the end of the show. And once again, I say I apologize for the last live stream, the inconvenience of it being removed off YouTube because of YouTube politics and them type of thing there. But yes, as always been a pleasure to be with the empresses, the first ladies, or the first lady.
Okay.
So, yeah, man. So we're gonna make a move, but before we go, we're gonna play some songs. I'll play 5 shots. Normally it's 3, but you know I dash in 2 shots. You know. But yes. So the first song we're going to be listening to is Sizzler Get to the Point.
Burn this time again. Get to the point, yeah, this the rough man, and I'm about to tell this when the Yankee gun times. Yeah, get to the point, yeah, this the rough man, and I'm one of the Babylonian every time. The one on him, hey, sister, can you stop love the one another? Hey, sister, can you stop the fire? Hey, sister, can you stop love the one another? Where the best things we good for them, judgment go set for them. Tell the black woman, say Rastafari, set for them. Tell the get the youth to them, just say I respect for them. Start the fight, and watch the boy, me say I love for them. Watch it when me jump off the poor boy, net for them. Watch it when you jump off the politics and net for them. But Babylon and me, I'm going to use the net for them. Yeah, it's lasting, no can't contest with them. Why are you, hey, sister, can you start the fire? Hey, sister, can you stop the one another? Hey, sister, can you start the fire? This a fire of the Lord, that's why we are up here.
trash. Can't you run them out to wash? Love the black woman, round the woman them put nash. And give the get to you, the one of the cash. Innocent you blood, but the land of smash. We come pretend you stop more. I police boy, you can't kill, not no more. Prime Minister, you can't thief, not no more. Governor General, you can't thief, not no more. I want a boy, you can't beat, not no more. Prime Minister, never teach me nothing before. All the King said I sleep on the throne. The King said I say I alone. No one on him. Hey, hey, hey. No one on him. Hey, hey, hey. I sit back and say I got the fire. Hey, hey, hey. I sit back and say I got the fire. Hey, hey, hey. I sit back and say I got the fire. He's on the fire. Get to the point. Yeah, this the Rasta man and I'm about me chalice when we have to burn down. Yo, get to the point. Yeah, this the Rasta. Yeah, this the should I never miss the Rasta man. Now I am him. Hey, hey, hey. I sit back and say I got the fire. Hey, hey, hey. I sit back and say I got the fire. Hey, hey, hey. I sit back and say I got the fire. Fire keep on red. Yo, put on the weapon, yes sir. I go from Nasa. Be a fuck reverse the politician and the one, yes sir. Me not touch Babylon. For a second, yes sir. Me a go shot back in where them with the weapon, yeah. Hey, hey, hey. I sit back and say I got the fire. Hey, hey, hey. I sit back and say I got the fire. Hey, hey, hey. I sit back and say I got the fire. It's a fire from blaze. These things we set for them. Judgment go set for them. Tell the black command say Rastafari. Set for them. Tell fire say I love and respect for them. What's it on me? Chop off Boba, look for them. What's it on me? Chop off the politician, neck for them. Bomb Babylon and me about the lazy dead for them. Well, Vatican can't come test with them. You see, sir, power the job on the face. The one on him. Hey, 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 I see the current start of the fire. Hey, 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 I see the current start of the one. Hey, 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 I see the current start of the fire. This is the fire blaze. Yo, get to the point. Yeah, this the Rasta man and I'm about me chalice when they are keep on tight. Yeah, get to the point. Yeah, this the Rasta.
Yes, people, that was Sizzler Get to the Point. Once again, Sizzler Get to the Point. And the next song we'll be playing. Yes. Boy, make sure you don't get drunk tonight, you know, man. Alright, Morgan Heritage, Mount Zion medley.
On them off it on it in a cowboy town. And it's a life when they promote the ice of level. So when you burn them evil concept, go and say that is a destruction to humanity. So me say, watch what I know. Aye, check this, check. Jaja City, Jaja Town, them off it on it in a cowboy town. When you look and know, Jaja City, Jaja Town, them off it on it in a dead man town. Boy, them think they reach the ultimate, yo, but them not reach nowhere. Boy, them get caught in the internet of society. I tell me them my intellect, them promote too much debt. When you look and know, Jaja City, Jaja Town, them not turn it in a bad man town. When you look and know, Jaja City, Jaja Town, them want to turn it in a cowboy town. Boy, want to stop you, sir. Love is the only solution. Can stop a revolution. Just freedom and education from war and illusion. Love is the only solution. That can stop a revolution. Just freedom and education from war and illusion.
Only rise and gone on them think we done. Peter Tosh rise and gone on them think we done. Jacob Miller rise and gone them think we done. Gone and sink him rise and gone, but look ya, Morgan family come rise. And then he rise to our uprising, it's no rise. And then he rise to his uprising, Luciano rise. And then he rise to his uprising, Rastafari come with how we come. Mommy children rise. And then he rise to their uprising, Capleton rise. And David Oaks to his uprising, put your rise. And then he rise to his uprising, Rastafari rise children come. Liberation war. Whoa, chant boy, Rasta man chant boy.
Whoa, chant boy, the liberation boy. Whoa, chant boy, Rastaman chant boy. Whoa, chant boy, listen,
Never go get feeling Jah not tomorrow. Cause them not praise Jah not today. Never go reach no Zion. Cause them not see I will. Yeah. Never go get feeling Jah not tomorrow. Cause them not praise Jah not today. Never go reach no Zion. Cause them not see I will. Yo,
this heart of fire. Yeah, the people when don't see the emperor. The Lion of Judah, he is the conqueror. Yeshua is return. Javaya must burn. She said this heart of fire. Yeah, the people when don't see the emperor. The Lion of Judah, he is the conqueror. Yeshua is return. Javaya must burn.
yeah, we sing. On to Zion we go. I can't move slow, no. Rastafari rules and reigns, and we're going where the green grass grows. Oh, well, on to Zion we go. I can't move slow, no. Repatriation is a must, and we're going where the blessings flow. We're blood and fire warriors, fighting to set the captive free, pointing souls on to Zion. Give your heart for Jah kingdom, yeah. Oh, ye righteous ones, oh come now. Well, yeah.
Jaja, you're truly great, and you of eyes can see that you spread your blessings all over me. Jaja, you're truly great, and you of eyes can see that you spread your blessings all over me. Oh, it's a training. Yaga, yeah. It's a treatment. It's a training, I blow, she blow my way. Send some blessings today. It's like a natural misty blowing through the air, and you feel it if you are aware. Jaja love is in my heart, and I grant it to my brethren today. Teach them everything that he say. You are truly great, and their eyes can see. Yeah. That you spread your blessings all over me.
Yes, people, that was Mount Zion Medley by Morgan Heritage. Yeah, man. For the next tune. Alright. It is Intense Me and Myself. Then we've got 2 extra bonus songs, and then we're going to make a move. So once again, Intense Me and Myself.
Sound like a joke. But one of them style, you know. King Kush. Bitter masses, baby. My love. I'm feeling to them family. For a joke. Turning on me on makes my wealth. Nuts. I need a body by myself. Smoke and laser with my dress and my bed. I need a body hungry. No time they go and sing again and I'm afraid. Nobody. I trust me and myself. To make the people out there give me strength enough. Shoulda fall down, girl. And just my nigga, I'm my first and my best friend. And if the man know I'm doing on my friend. Can't run your select and well. Can't get to me access, my parent take anti-social. But they ever call it that I come. Sound like a joke. Now one of them style, you know. King Kush. With the masses, every man love. I'm referring to them family. For a joke. Turning on me on makes no wealth, meds. You need a body by myself. Smoke and laser with my dress and my bed. I need a body hungry. No time they want to see me girl, I'm not afraid. Nobody. I trust me on myself. To make the people out there give me strength enough. Should have followed down girl. And just my nigga, I'm my first and my best friend. And if the man know I'm doing on my well. Chill, running on so like Tankwell. Can't get to me access, no granted, antisocial. But they call it that a composure. Them rebel too much for my maybe. Being a roll back from soldier. But he wish I'm not tobacco and lake. No, stop planning on me, I make no help. You need a body by myself. Smoke and ease with my dress and my bed. I need a body hungry. No time, baby, I see my girl, I'm not afraid. Nobody. I trust me on myself, death. To make people out there give me strength. Enough. Should have followed down, girl. You really need a man. I'm there for girl. I'm feeling way too much when I see you every day. But that's not new to me, I'm the Christ and the crucifix. In your love for point I miss me. Love you man, body, me look buy some. Little space in me, the space you have for me. The burn over, wow, they're more than me. And I'm not effort in the people, I'm a day pull it on. Sound like a joke. Now one of them style, you know. King Kush. With the masses, every man love. I'm referring to them family. For a joke. Turning on me on makes no wealth, meds. You need a body by myself. Smoke and laser with my dress and my bed. I need a body hungry. No time they want to see me girl, I'm not afraid. Nobody. I trust me on myself. To make the people out there give me strength enough. Should have followed down, girl. And just my nigga, I'm my first and my best friend. And if the man know I'm doing on my word. Carry, don't answer like Tankwell. Can't get to me access, no granted, antisocial. But they call it that a composure. Them rebel too much for my maybe. Being a roll back from soldier. But he wish I'm not tobacco and lake. No, stop planning on me, I make no help. You need a body by myself. Smoke and ease with my dress and my bed. I need a body hungry. No time, baby, I see my girl, I'm afraid. Nobody. I trust me on myself, death. To make the people out there give me strength enough. Should have followed down, girl. You really need a man. I'm a day for girl. I'm feeling way too much when I see you every day. But that's not new to me, I'm the Christ and the crucifix. And in your love for point I miss me. Love you man, body, me look buy some. Little space in me, the space you have for me. The burn over, wow, they're more than me. And I'm not effort in the people, I'm a day pull it on me, I make no help. Meds. You need a body by myself. Smoke and laser with my dress and my bed. I need a body hungry. No time, they don't want to see my girl, I'm not afraid. Nobody. I trust me on myself, death. To make the people out there give me strength enough. Should have followed down, girl. I trust me on myself. Nobody. I trust me on myself. Death. Should have followed down, girl. I'm just my nigga, I'm my first and my best friend. And if the man know I'm doing on well, carry running on so like Tankwell. Can't get to me access, no granted, antisocial. But they call it that a composure. Them rebel too much for my mate. Being a roll back from soldier. But he wish I'm not tobacco and lake. No, stop planning on me, I make no help. You need a body by myself. Smoke and ease with my dress and my bed. I need a body hungry. No time, baby, I see my girl, I'm not afraid. Nobody. I trust me on myself, death. To make the people out there give me strength enough. Should have followed down, girl.
Yes, people, that was intense. Me and myself. Like we said before, you got 2 extra songs. And what can I play? Question. It's ladies' night. Let's roll the dice. Let's roll the dice. SWV, I'm so into you. Yeah, man. Little vibe, little R&B, you know. Make ladies swing, you know. And them thing there, yeah, man. It's a party vibes before we make a move. people. That was SWV. I'm so into you. And for the final song, all right, fuck it. This one is the last song, Faith Evans, Love Like This. Yeah, man. For the final tune.
I never knew there was a love like this before. Never had someone to show me a love like this before. Now that we have come to be a brand new life, I can see. Never thought you'd be a special part of me. No, baby. The reasons are because of you. I can go on and make it through. I can't even take my mind off loving you. And I wanna say I never knew there was a love like this before. Never had someone to show me a love like this before. Now that we have come to be a brand new life, I can see. Never thought you'd be a special part of me. No, baby. The reasons are because of you. I can go on and make it through. I can't even take my mind off loving you. And I wanna say I never knew there was a love like this before. A love like this before. Never had someone to show me a love like this before. I know you can't see all the things you mean to me. I'm so amazed that you are mine. Yeah, 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 yeah. If we can work together, maybe this can last forever. This is something that I wanna hold on to. So baby, try to understand. I'd be crazy, crazy. You should come for me first time. I never knew there was a love like this before. Never had someone to show me a love like this before. Now that we have come to be a brand new life, I can see. Never thought you'd be a special part of me. No, baby. The reasons are because of you. I can go on and make it through. I can't even take my mind off loving you. And I wanna say I never knew there was a love like this before. A love like this Not like this before. I know you can't see all the things you mean to me. I'm so amazed that you are mine. Yeah. If we can work together, maybe this can last forever. This is something that I wanna hold on to. So baby, try to understand. I'd be crazy. You should come for me first time. I like the way you walk and the way you walk, the way you talk. Know just what you do to me. Somehow, I like this before. I like this before. I had someone to show me your love. I never had a love like this before. I never knew love like this before. Never had someone to show me your love. Now never try to understand. If you need that, first time you compliment my style. I like the way you walk and the sexy things you talk. Oh, yeah, what you do to me. To show me your love. Love like this before. I never knew there was a love like this before. I never had someone to show me your love. Love like this before. I never knew there was a
Yes, people. Faith Evans, love like this before. And I'll give you one more bonus because it's odd. If I play 5, it's odd, so we've got to make it even. I'll give you one extra shot. Right? Is that okay, Fox? All right, let's say a word.
Like a boy.
Let me play a song for everybody to dance to, you know? Yeah, man. All right, Feel So Good by Mace.
You ready, Mace? Party people in the place to be. It's about that time for us to. Yeah, what you know about going out? Head west, red legs, TVs, all up in the headrest. Try and live it up, ride jewel, bigger truck, beats all split it up. Sneaker kid, make a what? Jig with a cut, sip quick, split it up. Hoes right, get your nut till I can't get it up. I'm a big man, get this man room. I done hit everything from Cancun to Cancun. Why you stand on the wall, hand on your balls, lighting up drugs, always fighting in the club. I'm the reason they made the dress code. They figure I went wild when I'm in my fresh clothes. Dressed as I suppose, from my neck to my toes. Neck full of gold, baguettes from my rolls. Rec shows, collect those extra O's. While they eat, get a key to the Lex to hold. East, west, every state, come on, bury the hate. Millions, the only thing we in the heavy to make. Whether from the ex-friend, intellect, or biz. Let's begin, bring this BS to an end. Come on.
Bad boy. Yeah. You make me feel so good.
Bad
You know you make me feel so good. Yeah, you know you make me feel so good.
That's what we do.
Bad boy. I wouldn't change you if I could.
I wouldn't change you if I could. I wouldn't change you if I could.
You can't
can't understand, we be wild kiki, shipping DP to the TV, look pretty. Little kids see me way out in DC with a Z3 chrome BBs. They wanna be me, and they talking shit, they ought to quit. Unfortunate, they don't see a fault what I get. And those be the same ones walking while I whip. Just started seeing cars cause they auction it. So while you daydream, I'm a city gleam, and I deal with hoes that pose in Maybelline. One time you had it all, I ain't mad at y'all, nigga. You ready, man?
Party people in the place to be. It's about that time for us to
Yeah, what you know about going out? Head west, red legs, TVs, all up in the headrest. Tryna live it up, ride jewel, bigger truck, beats all good it up. Snickle kid, nigga what? Jig with a cut, sip Chris, spit it up. Hoes rock, get your nut tuck, can't get it up. I'm a big man, get a slam room. I done hit everything from Cancun to Cancun. Why you stand on the wall, hand on your balls, lighting up drugs, always fighting in the club. I'm the reason they made the dress code. They figure I went wild when I'm in my fresh clothes. Dresses I suppose, from my neck to my toes. Neck full of gold, baguettes in my rolls. Rec shows, collect those extra O's. While the heat, get a key to the Lex to hold. East, west, every state, come on, bury the hate. Millions, the only thing we in the heavy to make. Whether from the X-Ren, intellect, or biz. Let's begin, bring this BS to an end. Come on.
Bad boy. You make me feel so good.
Bad
You know you make me feel so good. You know you make me feel so good.
That's what we do.
Bad boy. I wouldn't change you if I could. I wouldn't change you if I could. I wouldn't change you if I could.
You can't understand, we be wild kiki, shipping DP to the TV, look pretty. Little kids see me way out in DC with a Z3 chrome BBs. They wanna be me, and they talking shit, they ought to quit. Unfortunate, they don't see a fault what I get. And those be the same ones walking while I whip. Just started seeing cars cause they auction it. So while you daydream, I'm a city gleam, and I deal with hoes that pose in Maybelline. One time you had it all, I ain't mad at y'all, now give me the catalog. I show you how daddy ball. 6 cars and power to 5 big stars. Sit up CEO style, smoking on cigars, nigga. It's like y'all be talking funny. I don't understand language of people with short money.
Bad boy. You make me feel so good.
Come on.
You make me feel so good. You know you make me feel so good.
That's what we do.
Bad boy. I wouldn't change you if I could. I wouldn't change you if I could. I wouldn't change you if I could.
Yeah, Dumane's got the ladies. Do puff drive Mercedes. Take hits from the 80s. But do it sound so crazy? With me personally, it's not personal. I do a work for me, you do a work for you. And I dress with what I was blessed with. Never been arrested for nothing domestic. And I chill the way you met me. With a jet ski attached to a Etsy. Smoke my Nestle. No bad rap ass cat where my check be. Problem with y'all, I said directly. Went from hard to sweet. Starved to eat. From no holy shows to Menage sweet. Now I be the cat that be hard to meet. Getting head from girls that used to hardly speak. Come on.
Bad boy. You make me feel so good. You know you make me feel so good. You know you make me feel so good.
That's what we do.
Bad boy. I wouldn't change you if I could. I wouldn't change you if I could. I wouldn't change you if I could.
Let's go.
Bad boy. You make me feel so good. You know you make me feel so good. You know you make me feel so good.
Come on.
Bad
Don't stop.
boy. I wouldn't change you if I could. I wouldn't change you if I could. I wouldn't change you if I could.
Yes, people. Seed foxes, serious man. Lord God. Yes, people. It's that time again. And that was Mace. Feels so good. Yeah, man, it feels so good, man. I could actually play next tune, but we're not gonna do that. Right? Because I'll get the party vibes and the tune will never end. But yes, people, it's been a pleasure with myself and alongside Empress Copper Fox. You know, always a pleasure to be with the Empresses, you know, with ICCC in general. And yes, you know, tonight's tune was very pleasant, informative as always. I'd like to say thank you to everybody that stuck with us whilst we faced technical difficulties regarding the live stream, the previous live stream that we did, and it wasn't moved. So we just resumed where we left off. Thanks to everybody that tuned in and came back and actually stayed with us to the end. We do appreciate it. And yes, until the next time, with myself and Fox, we out. But Fox, before I do that, So you gotta say before we close.
Yeah, first and foremost, I have to say peace and love to all y'all once more again. Coming back to join us again once more for the knowledge and the vibes. It's always gratitude. Big ups to Chief Inca, as always, bro. Spinal backbone is that it is uttered, but hey, that's my bro. What can I say? I'm not perfect. Excuse my French. Yeah, and yeah, that's it. Peace and love. On the playback. These subscribers, those subscribers. It's just facts, man. That's just me, just humble and just, you know what I mean? It's all about knowledge and vibes to me. Until then, I'm out. Peace.
Peace.